Hey everyone, Aaron here, and this is actually more so a review, not for anything like my number of reviews or surprise attack reviews, but this is actually a birthday gift to my mom. Um, I figured why not give her a review herself. She actually does watch some of my content on my channel. I know she doesn't know too much about anime, but she tries to she tries to actually talk to me about some of it. She tries to actually learn about some of it, and so I figured, she actually is a huge fan of Supernatural, and she actually did like the anime for this. So why not review it as like a surprise gift to her? So happy birthday, mom! I love you, and this is your review. So Supernatural, the animation, is actually based off the huge hit series from CW called Supernatural, which follows the Winchester brothers, who are essentially kind of cursed to have to take down ghosts and demons and such, and just lieu of just having to, they feel that that's their responsibility. They do it also to find many answers to many questions that they have about, what happened to their mother who died early on in the show, and what happened to their father, and what is their father's legacy has led to them kind of cursing them in terms of what they have to do. Now, one of the big things about Supernatural I never got into was the fact that it's a lot of those kind of episode by episode type shows until like the last 10 or so, where then there's like an overarching story. And it's not that I don't like Supernatural. I've actually watched a lot of Supernatural. I will still watch it here and there. I don't watch it as religiously as I used to. I used to watch, I think, the first 3 or 4 seasons as they came out, but then I kind of got it out of it. I found a lot of the episodes kind of be samey. But when the animation came out, I was actually very curious about that because it looked amazing, at least the trailers for it, and lo and behold, actually, it's very good. I was actually surprised by this, because a lot of times when you hear about an anime coming out from a TV show or something like that, you kind of have a little bit of hesitation because you think, oh, it might not be that great, or they might have too many of the issues that the show has. And Supernatural the animation actually does have a few of those issues. It does have the kind of pacing issues that the show has, but instead of going with an overall arcing story that Supernatural the show does, where like the first season will talk about mostly the mother and trying to figure out what happened to her, and trying to find the father because he's missing in action. Unlike that concept, Supernatural the animation kind of just follows the bit by bit episode based concept, where every episode is its kind of own individual entity rather than overall arcing story. And I actually think that works very well for the show. I think that's when the show actually shines in general, but the animation definitely shines because of that. Now, oddly enough, voice acting wise, one of the main characters, the character who plays Sam, actually is the same voice actor in the English dub of Supernatural animation. However, Dean is not played by his actual persona in real life. He's played by a different voice actor completely. But here's the thing: is that he actually sounds pretty close to actually how Dean sounds in the show. And I actually remember talking to my mom about this, where she didn't realize that Dean wasn't played by the actual guy who played Dean, because he just sounds pretty damn close. He's only occasionally here and there where he sounds like someone else, but it's very rare. And I give him props for that. That's pretty impressive that you can make your voice sound so close to someone else's in terms of a show like this, because I mean, you can hear mimic characters. You've always heard that in people mimicking someone else's voice, but this guy does a pretty good job of keeping the kind of same flow and ebb that he has in terms of how he talks, his sarcastic rebuttals and such like that, which is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, the animation is actually very good. My only issues was sometimes some of the episodes are weaker than others. I think particularly sometimes the emotional content that the show has does so well isn't kind of portrayed so well in the animation. Namely, there was one episode that I remember in the anime where they had just had to kill a mother that was infected by a spirit, and at first they felt very kind of grief stricken that they had to do that, because now essentially they orphaned a young boy. But 5 minutes later, they're laughing and joking about how they had to do it, and what she was like, and that's almost kind of just it kind of detracts you from the show, because you almost get pissed off that they would even do that. Like, why would they start laughing about this? Like, it's not funny. It's depressing, and yet now you're laughing about it. But I think on the show they do that too occasionally from time to time because they're trying to find the way of breaking the tension from it. Trying to kind of move on from it. So I mean, it does work in some ways. It just feels sometimes a little bit too on the nose in terms of it switches between concepts of emotion still too much. But again, like I said, this show, this anime actually, excuse me, based off the show, does a very good job of trying to mimic how the show is and feel. And that's for that reason when I have to review Supernatural anime, I have to give it a solid B. Its animation is probably the strongest point of it. The voice acting is pretty good from both of them. I think Sam is actually pretty weak in terms of how he sounds because he doesn't. It's harder, and people will tell you this. It's harder to be a voice actor than it is to be an actor sometimes, and vice versa, because a voice actor has to not look at other people when he's talking, but more so look at a script and make sure that he just says it in time with the character's lips, and that's what makes dubbing kind of hard. I understand that. So he sometimes kind of flows from being a good voice actor to being a kind of mediocre one, and it shows sometimes. It shows especially during emotional sequences, but it's not that bad. It's forgivable. But yeah, overall, the stories are pretty good. Again, there's mixed things here and there. Some episodes are strong. Some episodes are very very weak. I think, namely, toward the middle point is where it's like, it's okay. The ending episodes were good though. But I give Supernatural Animation credit for just having the same kind of feel that the show has, and that's something very rare for an anime based off a show. So I do give it that thing. Anyways, more so than everyone else enjoy this review. I hope you enjoyed the review, Mom. I love you. God bless you. Have many birthdays to come. And until I talk to all you other viewers that you're gonna probably watch this, and hopefully some of you guys watch this, have a good one, everyone. Bye.